Let me clarify something, and then I might do one other thing. We're really blessed to have people that are participate in my channel, especially through these Bible videos. People that are veterans that have been at it for a long time as far as the faith. They know their Bible, they know their stuff, and I appreciate their contribution, their comments, and such. And I learn from it. Don't think I don't. This is not a criticism. But like in the last video, I talked about trying to stay clear of end time prophecy and this kind of stuff. The people that I relate to, as far as in the faith, door almost blew open, are the people that are just starting, or the people that are kicking the tires, window shopping, not quite sure what this is all about, kind of thing. Because I remember what it's like to be that person, okay? And so I'll be perfectly honest with you, that's who I'm talking to. Not trying to exclude anybody or anything, but those are the people I'm talking to. So when I talk about staying clear of end time prophecy and all that stuff, unless if you don't know who Jesus is, or why he was crucified, or what judgment is, or salvation, or the theme of the Gospels, where you fit into this whole equation, if you can't answer all those questions with some surety, you don't need to be messing with end time prophecy or the book of Revelation or any of that. Okay, I know some people disagree. Now, those of you that have been around, hey, you know what to do. Okay, I can't, you know where you need to be. But people that are just opening this thing up, or just kind of, I stick to the essentials. Let's get back to Jesus. Let's get to the teachings of Jesus. And what's this? Where is this? What is essential for your salvation? Okay, because when I got started in this thing, it's very confusing. It's very overwhelming. And when you realize you know nothing, and all these other people know so much, it's mind-boggling. And so those are the people I'm talking to. Like I said, I'm not trying to exclude anybody or anything, but if it seems like, well, hey man, prophecy and by end times, we should know that stuff. Well, yeah, some of you should, okay, because you have a little more discipline, and you're not going to get drawn away by flashy videos and the Nephilim and all this kind of wild space aliens and this kind of stuff. Whereas when you're new, you don't know if what's over sensationalized or not. So that's who I'm talking to. It's end times for those people. It's a waste of time until they get a better idea, have a better foundation. Okay. Another thing, a couple weeks back, real good guy asked a question or made a statement. And it was a good comment, but he brought up a statement that I've heard many times. And it was, he said, hey, I got no problem with Jesus or the message, but I avoid organized religion. Okay? And I've heard this a zillion times. People avoid organized religion. And I'm not going to argue, there's a million reasons why somebody would avoid organized religion or churches. The history, things that have, there's a million, we don't have to get into that. There's all kinds of reasons. On the outside looking in, said, hey, I want no part of that, okay? Because I've been there. I know what it's like to be a cynic and look at the church as kind of cross-eyed. If you're one of those people, if that rings kind of true for you, first realize when it comes to church and Christians, there's a million different flavors, okay? And it's really where you get to see where man has his hand on this book and how they interpret it, and they can do things that are kind of far out. That's what you can see in some of the churches. But what happens, my concern, the reason I bring this up, is you may have a problem with organized religion, and in avoiding it, you also avoid Jesus, the message, and salvation. Okay? If you have the smallest little inkling that this might be true, this Jesus thing, this gospel thing, all this, then you owe it to yourself to be able to do some research and answer the questions I mentioned before. Salvation, judgment, why was Jesus crucified? What's this got to do with you? Why do you need salvation? This kind of stuff. You need to answer. I have atheist friends that answer all those questions with no problem, but they choose not to believe this. Okay, you should be able to answer those questions. There's nothing biblical that says you have to go to church on Sunday. Okay, that is a man-made tradition. There's nothing wrong with church. If you're going and you feel your needs are being met, that's great. If it keeps you closer, keeps you on your path, it keeps you in the faith, that's great. I don't go to church. Okay, I don't tell people to go to church. Okay, you've heard it many times. Don't go to church, be the church. But there's nothing, someone says, oh, well, you have to go to a church. No, you don't have to go to church. Okay, but what you miss out on in a church is fellowship. You have other people believing the same thing, kind of on the same page and working together. That's a great thing. And you miss out on that. But you can survive without it. Okay, it's nice to have. Fellowship should be your family. But as far as having to go to church, they did, and if you go in the book of Acts, they were doing church every day wherever they stood. Okay, there's 24/7. Okay, the idea that we can do something on Sunday, and it just, that works for some people, but you don't have to go to church. And then you don't want to be missing out on who, you should know who Jesus is. You should know what the message is, what salvation is, where it fits for you. Don't throw Jesus out with the bathwater. Just because you got a problem with churches. I got a problem with churches. Okay, I spend zillions of hours in this book and digging stuff up. I've never gone to church. I've been to churches before, but I've never, through this whole thing, unless it was a wedding, I haven't gone to church. Okay, it just didn't work for me. Okay, so if you got a problem with organized religion, I totally get where you're coming from, but don't miss out on Jesus. Okay, you owe it to yourself to follow up on that. I think I can do this next one. Someone asked, I don't know if I get the question correct, but somebody asked, can God put an obstacle in front of you to keep you from going in a certain direction? Okay, let's say you're going the wrong way, and he's going to put an obstacle in front of you. Or will God make things tougher on you to sort of strengthen you? I think that was the questions. I don't know if I can answer it directly. Maybe some of you can. Can God can do whatever he wants. He's God. Can God block your way? Originally I thought, well, why would he? That's, it's free will. We're going to go out and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But if you go back to the book of Acts, somewhere in the middle there, Paul, and I think he wasn't by himself, he was with someone else, and they were going to a certain, their ministry was drawing them to some other Troas or one of these places. And the Holy Spirit, boom, says, no, you need to go over there. Paul says, no, we got to go over here, because the Holy Spirit said, no, you're not going over here, you're going over there. And they did, and everything pans out, okay? And so here it is, Paul, Apostle Paul, and going off doing his job, what he think he needed to do, and God shows through the Holy Spirit, you need to go somewhere else. It'd be nice to have that kind of communication, John 14, 15, 16. So in that case, God stopped Paul and changed his direction. But what were they doing? What was the activity? Well, the whole idea is to do God's will. Okay, Paul wasn't putting together a real estate deal, or Paul wasn't arguing with his girlfriend, or I'm not exactly sure what the obstacle was in the question, but God's pretty much concerned, just about his will, your love, and your obedience, and who are you following? So, can God stop you and make you kind of do? Yeah. But look at your obstacles. Your obstacle is something. Is there some spiritual ramifications around your obstacle? Okay, kind of thing. I don't know if I'm making sense of that. But biblically, God stopped Paul and sent him in the other way. So if you're walking like Paul, maybe that would happen. The other one, as far as would God make things harder for you, I don't know if you would actually say it's making it harder for you, but you will be tested. Look at Job. Job didn't have an obstacle. Job was living the life. The devil shows up and says, I'll bet I can turn him on you. God says, give it a shot. Okay. So that wasn't necessarily Job trying to figure something out. He was living large, and he got tested. So is he stronger at the end of it after he lost everything and then had it replaced or whatever? I would think so, you know. But is that really the big message there? I don't know. So could God be stopping you to keep you from doing something, or will he be doing something to make you stronger? That's about the only two examples I got. Anything else, I'd really be speculating. But hopefully that answered your question. I think that was that was it. If you got a problem with organized religion, don't avoid Jesus. And the other thing was, keep in mind that predominantly anything I'm saying here, Bible-wise, the audience I'm speaking to are those people that are just either their first time seeing this, or they're kicking the tires, or whatever the case is. So, like I said, the guys that have done this for a while, feel free to comment and whatever. That's great. But just that's where I'm geared for. That's the people that I relate to in this, because I remember what it was like to be that new, so to speak. And I really feel for those people, because it's such a trying time. Anyhow, love you. God bless.